listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello there, this is Brian Sebastian, host of Movie Reviews and More, and it's been 2 years since I've been on the air. And obviously, for anybody who knows me, it's always about movies, entertainment, TV shows, and now gender empowerment. Got to introduce my hosts, Natalie Skyy.
Hello.
Gwenn Wunderlich.
Hi.
And guess who our special guest is? Michelle. Say your last name, Michelle, for us.
Kaufer.
And Erika,
Kaufer.
say your last name for us.
Katzin.
And I wanted to get those right because you know why?
Why?
Michelle's film was our 2016 Hollywood Film Festival winner last year, American Street Kids, and they both have a successful play called Elevator.
Yes.
Who would have known? 4 months in running, right? March 25th it started?
Yep, started March 25th. We're in our 4th month now, yeah, 100%.
All right, you didn't see that one coming, did you?
Well, I have to tell you the truth, actually, I did. And
okay,
here's
good.
Here's why. We put the show up in 2010, and it ran for almost a year here in Los Angeles. So we kind of had an idea that putting it back up here in LA would stand a good chance of running, and so I'm super grateful. Like, I hope that didn't sound like, oh yeah, I got this. Like, it's not that at all. It was really just about, you know, you kind of hope that it has that same life, and so it's proving that the show has its, you know, it's got legs.
You know, and the funny thing about that is, you were just talking about, you look familiar, Gwenn, because Gwenn saw your movie, American Street Kids,
Yes.
which I thought was great. And our winner, and that's fun when you tell people about it and you're pleasantly surprised. Oh, you saw my movie. That's a really, really nice thing when it comes down to it.
I know, and we were just talking before the interview started, and we were introducing ourselves, and so I had no idea that you had seen it, so that's always a nice thing.
See, and as a matter of fact, Natalie was supposed to be there, and she was out of town because I forgot if you were working or whatever, because she's doing many things, which is also a great thing.
I don't remember either, but we'd have to check the calendar.
Erika, let's start with you because I don't know a lot about you, but you're a gorgeous woman here and a female editor, which I've always admired through the history of film. That's always been important in my book. Talk about who you are.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. Hey, this is your time to shine because what a great film and a great play. Talk about that. You're in it.
I am. Well, the play, I mean, I worked with 1111 for a long time. I met them doing theater like 10 years ago or something. And then when the theater stopped, I was like, I'm sticking around because I like it. And then we started working on American Street Kid, and I had just watched other editors that we kind of brought in, were working on stuff, and when they weren't working out, I was kind of like, let me just sit down and see, and I'd retained so much information that it really became a film that really couldn't, it was, you know, filming Street Kids is like filming nomads. Like, you don't know where they're gonna be, you don't know if they're gonna stay, so the film starts to take a life of its own as far as when you're gonna be filming and how long you're gonna be filming for.
Exactly.
So it became hard to like sift through all this footage and find the story unless the director, Michael, really could just be in the driver's seat, and he and I work very closely together on a lot of creative stuff, so it just kind of seemed natural that we kind of took the reins of it together. It was the first film I've ever edited. And then Elevator, I was part of that when it first went up in the Fringe 10 years ago, just for like kind of like, let's just put up a play just because we're kind of between projects.
6 years ago.
6 years, what did I say?
10.
6, you know, I can't, time is...
Time goes quick. Talk about the aspects of how everything goes, because again, we have two actresses here going out for auditions. The process, what was that like? I'm not an actor. That's not my world. My world is finding great products and having everybody come together and talk about it and getting people to go out there and see that. Talk about getting people to go see the play. We none of us ever see it. We're going to come see it too.
You need to come this weekend.
And talk about why it's been extended. Why do people like it?
Do you want, or
I think one of the things people really like about it is that it's a feel-good show. Like, it's very funny and it's very light, but then it goes somewhere real with all of these people because it's about people stuck in an elevator, so there's not really anywhere to go but inside and in each other.
Yeah.
And so you watch these characters break down, and they're all very archetypal, so everyone can kind of relate to all of them. Someone's going to find something within themselves in at least one of the characters. you kind of go through this sort of interesting ride, and you leave feeling sort of inspired and sort of good and hopeful about life, whatever your thing is that you're dealing with or thinking about. And I think people are responding really, I think that's what people respond to, is that you leave feeling good.
I'm just happy that people in Los Angeles are actually going to a play. That's not the easiest thing to do, is it?
No.
It's true. It's true. Like I said to you before we started, we feel really lucky. We feel really lucky that LA has embraced us, that West Hollywood in particular has embraced us, and that people are coming out of the show and sending their friends. Literally, we got an email from one of our ticketing services this morning that this gentleman had come to see the show last weekend, loved it so much that he bought it as a gift, bought 2 tickets as a gift for a friend, and he was emailing us because he wanted to make sure that his friend wouldn't have an issue at will call because the tickets would be under his name. So
that's great.
People are, like, women are bringing, their kids and their grandkids, and my son told me about it. He saw it last week, and so it's just sort of got this natural flow, and people are digging it. So I'm just gonna knock on wood a little bit and say, again, we're really lucky and we're really grateful, and the show is the thing, right? It's like you can be any producer. And I'm not saying that, but marketing and all that has its place. But if the show is not good, then what is it, right? Because it's not just how do you market a good show. How do you market a show? It's how do you get a good show, which I don't know. We just lucked out, right?
Well, isn't it sort of like how do you make a good movie? You set out to make. No one sets out to make a bad movie, right?
Of course,
nobody does that. But you just never know. And I always say it comes down to marketing when it comes to everything.
Sure.
And
content.
I think in content and vision, I think one of the things that's also really kind of grabbing people about Elevator is, you hear Elevator, it's about people stuck in an elevator, so you kind of go to, so it's going to be a bunch of people monologuing in a small box, and it's not that. It's conceptually very visual and very smart,
Dynamic.
but in a really simple, easy, to understand kind of way. And I think that's something that people really like, is that you go in and you have this kind of visual experience and this ride, and it's really clever. And
I think Michael Leone, who's the writer and director of the piece, he's got, like you said, I think it's the vision of it, because there's pieces in the play that you just wouldn't expect to see things happening on stage, like a fast forward sequence or a slow motion sequence or something like that. And I won't tell you too much because I don't want to give it away, but these are things that are just so innovative and cool, and people are digging it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to credit Michael Leone, the creator and the director, and David Goldstein, who worked with him on the lights. Because
on set,
there's a visual element that I think pulls people in and feels very like you're kind of surrounded by the project, by the show, which I think is what people are also really liking, that you feel like you're just in this little world.
Immersed, and
then
that sounds amazing.
It's really cool, and I'm not just saying it because I'm in it.
Well, what do you like about the character?
About the character I play?
Yeah. I like that.
Well, she's a fairly bombastic character. She's very loud and truculent when needs to be,
Sounds like Natalie.
Oh. Well, then you know what character you're gonna
relate to.
But I don't want to give too much away about any of the characters, but she's just it's a fun character to play. I think all the characters fun because there's such a broad range of what goes on with each of them. Everyone has the opportunity to be very funny and very physical, and also get real and go somewhere, and actually, I don't know, find stuff in yourself and try and move people, which is kind of what you're hoping to do.
That's what I was going to say, is that there's so many layers to the characters, because it's almost like the longer they're in the elevator, the more gets revealed, the more they open up, and so it does go to the depths, which is...
it's the show is what's fun. All the characters, in the last run, everyone... Because you're all so tightly packed together, you can't really not get close with everybody, and everyone can, become... And this cast especially is very, very tight and very, sibling-like. So it's just, there's a really strong connection, and the show is so technical in such an interesting way that it kind of keeps you on your toes. That is part of what's really fun about the show. People always go, aren't you kind of tired of doing it? And I'm like, no, you never know what's going to happen in the elevator. You really don't ever know what's going to happen in the elevator.
See, I like stuff like that, and Daniel's been really, really nice. I mean, I haven't met him yet. We talked on the phone twice.
David Goldstein,
David Goldstein, yeah. He's a busy man. Wow, who'd have
He's,
known?
you know, what's amazing too about David is that, you know, he came on as our lighting and set designer, and
He's more than that.
Yeah, well, he's a producer now. He came on originally doing light and sets, and he still does. But you know, like Erika said, the family part of the elevator kind of extends onto the producing team too, because we're so immersed in it with each other this whole time. And so David was a natural fit, and I think he's also a natural producer. So he just sort of I said naturally 3 times, but you know what I mean. He sort of fell into that role really, really well, and he's excelling at it, which is lovely. Yeah.
Talk about my friend Stan Davis. Who
Stan
knew when you brought Stan in? I hadn't
Davis.
seen him in years.
So funny.
You know, he was at the
Small
Hollywood
world.
Film Festival Spring Showcase, and I'm like, what are you doing here? He goes, oh, I'm with the cast of Elevator. I'm like, what's Elevator? I'm
So
thinking, what? There's
funny.
no elevator here.
Right,
And then I'm
right.
like, all of a sudden I see this group of people, and I'm like, what's Michelle and Michael doing? Oh,
Yes,
okay. And then I got it.
yes.
Who knew?
Right. Well, also what's really interesting is that during the first run of Elevator between 2010 and 2011, we were still doing American Street Kid during that time.
Right.
So you can see in the film of American Street Kid, which I don't want to give away too much, but Elevator does make an appearance, and the cast of Elevator makes an appearance in the film.
Oh.
So they've met the kids from the film. The two things were happening parallel. So the cast of Elevator very much knew what was going on with our production team through that process, and they were super supportive. So it's like our 2 projects sort of intertwined in that family aspect. So of course they would come to the Hollywood Film Festival Spring Showcase and support the film, and you know.
Yeah, what's actually cool is that one of the boys that we worked with, who's there were several kids that the production and Michael specifically got super close to, and like kind of took on in a little more of like a mentoring way than I think he expected. And 2 of those boys came on to Elevator, were working on it, and like one of them was his assistant director, another one was the stage manager, and one of those boys came back, and he's assistant stage managing on the show again, and it's just cool to, you know.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Totally.
How can people find you, especially tourists coming into Los Angeles, because it's always about people coming from around the world, coming to, what can we do when we're in Los Angeles? How can they come see this?
ElevatorThePlay.com. Easy. There's tons of photos and videos on there. You get a sense of the show, and obviously you can buy tickets, which is the ultimate goal.
Yes. And our number is 818-570-5085, 818-570-5085. Let's talk about Natalie. Natalie Skyy. At one point, she was a ring girl, and I do all this off the top of my head, so if I screw up, so be it. But, you know, she'll correct me because she's kind of like your character right here. So who knows? But anyhow, you know, she did Sons of Anarchy 3 years.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, ring girl of the month, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. See, I've got so many things in my mind. I
of
have to
things.
always remember these things. So take it from there. Oh, and you know what? That I really like? Jewelry. She makes jewelry.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
looking at your
Little
bracelets, and
artist,
that's
yeah.
so
Thank you.
pretty.
Yeah.
See, if
No,
I don't
little-
remind people about this, she forgets that it's on her wrist.
I do.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
side project, you know.
I like it.
Keep myself busy between auditions and stuff, so I'm not thinking about I'm not working. You know, have something else to do.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
everybody has to always do different things, right?
For sure.
All right. So when you first started, when did you know you wanted to be an actress?
Oh my gosh, when I came out the womb,
You've always known.
yes.
Okay.
I was doing dance, theater, children's plays from the age of 4 through high school.
Now, you have an interesting story when it comes to getting on Sons. This is interesting. You didn't expect that to happen, did you?
No, I kind of, I had kind of given up on my dream just because I was like, if I'm gonna move to LA, it's just far-fetched. I was doing the ring girl stuff, and
Which you were really good at.
yeah, and I was doing some sports broadcasting for the UFC gym and their grand openings and interviewing fighters and all that fun stuff. And I decided to move to LA to pursue sports broadcasting. And a friend of mine was doing background casting, and I got cast on Sons, and then I got bumped, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is really
So
cool.
it was like the second that I decided that I wasn't going to do it anymore, it just sucked me back in.
Well,
It
that
was
kind of
like-
happened in that very like idealistic way, where it's like you're an extra, and then you got bumped, then you got bumped, but like that's like the
Yeah,
what
like
everyone
unheard
wants.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it was mostly because I had wanted it so bad for so long that I was like suffocating it. And the second that I kind of let go of that grip, then it was able to happen
Yeah.
cohesively.
Right.
It's
So.
yeah.
You know, but you've also developed a great relationship with the cast still, and you go on convention signings and things like that.
Yeah, well, just like you're talking about, you're with these people forever. You're going to places that like you don't normally go to when you're with your regular friends, you know, normal, typical conversations.
Yeah.
So you build a deep bond with these people.
And that's very, very important, isn't it?
Yeah, huge.
So you are now, I mean, so when you did those 3 years, I mean, think of where Charlie is and everybody else and Kim Coates is, and what a great series. I mean, it's still being discovered around the world. But people really like your character, which is why you get a chance to go on a lot of the signings. Talk about what that's like.
I know,
Because that's
it's
madness,
so fun.
isn't it?
It is. It's total chaos. It's total chaos, organized chaos, but I love it. I think it was because it was the dumb blonde thing. Everyone likes, you know, the comedic relief in a intense, high-strung story. And that's what Kiki was.
Well, yeah. Talk about when some of your fans come up and greet you. What's that's like in other states and in other countries.
Well, I have a lot of fans too that had followed from the
Your MMA?
Ring Girl stuff. You know,
Yep.
so they've watched my career evolve the last 10 years, and it's pretty cool. And a lot of them have become friends. You know, like I don't really look at them as a fan. I mean, they've watched my entire career. I just have a different job than they do.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed meeting everybody and talking to them. I have a blast.
Gwenn, all right. So we met at a friend's little party that we had, and he's a journalist. He does a lot of foreign things, Emmanuel Terre, and it's interesting when you sit down, you're interviewing celebrities all the time. Well, he has these parties because he lives in Santa Barbara, and he likes to bring his friends together, and you never know who you're going to meet. I said, you never know what foreigner I'm going to meet, so I met her, being from Germany. And she walks in, and I'm like, well, who's this woman sitting over here by herself? And we just started talking. And the more I listened to her story, I thought, well, she's interesting. And she started talking about her mom, and that she does healings, and that she was an actress, and she likes to do stunts. I'm like, well, that's interesting. What woman doesn't like to do all these things? But she was really adamant about what she wanted to do. And then since she comes from another country, I thought it was interesting in talking about what it's like to have dual citizenship and being that actress. But because you still have to go through the process of auditioning, and that's just not easy no matter what country you come from, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Talk about coming from Germany and what that's like.
Well, it's a great adventure. It's not always easy, but it's also not that hard. I'm very lucky having dual citizenship. I was born in America, so a lot of things, I can work in America. I don't have that whole struggle that a lot of my other international friends have. So yeah, I've been very lucky with my life so far, and yeah, I'm amazed at how far I've come in such a short amount of time.
Well, and you also want to do stunts?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I did not know I wanted to do stunts until I was in a short film where they said, this is what you're going to do. And I'm like, oh my God, am I? And they're like, yeah. So I went and did it, and it surprised me
What was the
so
stunt?
much. It was kind of martial arts. So I was like in a bunch of fight scenes, and they kind of trained me on the spot. And I did it very well. I really surprised myself, and I'm like, I'm hooked. Like, I need to do more of this. Yeah.
See, and when I met her, she came in and she had this glow of like that. It's not that freshly arrived glow that you come from another state or another country coming into Los Angeles. It was like, I really want to do this. I really enjoy what I'm doing. And that's why I sat and talked with her, because I was supposed to be talking to other people. And I want to come to see my friends have 1 or 2 drinks and go, because I got stuff to do. But she was so happy. I'm like, I got to get her number. And we've been friends ever since. And she's come to a lot of the Hollywood stuff, and that's how she saw you film.
So amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, because again, I love getting a different perspective on what goes on outside the U.S., outside of this bubble, which is, again, getting people to come see your play, your movie, or a TV show, really, really important. And then she started to talk about her mom. This is her mom's book, and her mom is a healer, and it's a really interesting book. I haven't read this one yet. I've read the other one. I'm almost through it. But she was talking about what her mom is like when she got into an accident and things like that. And that was the other part that intrigued me, because we're in Los Angeles, and it's tough to deal with a lot of people. And you go to an audition, and sometimes you're like, I think I did it, and I don't know how I was or anything like that. But at the same time, you're praying that, I hope I get this job, right? That's really what it's like. But at the same time, we need spiritual cleansings. We need help. I've had all the actors say at one point, you know, you have to have a lot of luck, some fortune, and you just go for it at that point. So, and you guys know, you women know at this point, it's not easy being in this town to what everybody does. And that's what I got from meeting Gwenn, and I thought that was great, and she's special. And that's why I wanted to have you here talking about her journey too. And her mom, because her mom will be in the country pretty soon. And we're going to talk about this book, and I'm going to have her come back and do that.
Yes.
Show the audience what that book is so your mom can see it. Her mom is in, where's your mom, in Germany right now?
Yes.
We talked to her a little bit briefly earlier. Exactly. So about that process, it is called Movie Reviews and More. So when everybody's working, it is hard to go see stuff. One of the hits this summer is Wonder Woman. You two have been busy doing stuff. I mean, it's, you know, when you're working, you hear about all these good things, but you don't get a chance to come out and see it. You two have seen it, right?
I think I'm the only one that saw it, and you.
Gwenn
Yes, I
saw it.
haven't seen
You haven't seen it yet.
No.
Talk about why you liked it, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it, but I'm glad it did well.
I liked it, well, mostly because it's a female superhero.
That's what I
directed
like.
by a female. And I just enjoyed the story. I liked how they, you know, I didn't really know the whole story of Wonder Woman, and I don't know if that's exactly the whole story, but I like how it's got the mythology in it, you know, and I enjoy that whole aspect of intertwining, you know, Zeus and all the Greek gods and that.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved her character, and she's got it. They're in for a great, you know, series. I love the fact that it's a woman director. I really like that because for Hollywood Film Festival, we push gender empowerment. That's really, and what do we have around here? 4 powerful women. You can't go wrong with that, and 1 black guy. But I'm okay with that. But anyhow, that's the whole thing. That's one of the reasons why I liked it. I'm glad that it did well, and it showcases up for that female director and editor. Really, really important stuff, because the history of film is some of the best work, female editors. You can't go wrong with that. And I like to highlight those things. Go back and see any of those black and white classics. Most of those films were edited by women.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, absolutely. 30s, 40s, 50s, yep. And then all of a sudden died down. It's like there's like no record of them. None. That's why I like to push things like that. You know, and then we've got Dunkirk coming out next week. We've got War of the Planet of the Apes coming out this week. You know, big budget films. But I'm all about the smaller independent films too. So it's always good to go see this, again, American Street Kids. Things like that. I like to find those gems like that. When you're traveling overseas, when do you get a chance to see a lot of movies? You're going to be going back to Germany pretty soon.
Yes, I probably won't have the chance to see a lot of movies. When I
And see, and this is why I have to ask why. Why is that? Because as an actress, I always ask people, I think you should be studying your craft, but it boils down to time. Because there's so much stuff to do and very, very little time to do it in. So for me, I'm a movie whore. I love movies. You know, going to movies or going to talk to a friend, well, I'm going to go watch this movie because I can always talk to my friends. But I want to see this because, again, I want to push that product. I think it's really, really important for people to see this. When you get a chance, because you're always busy doing stuff, because your mind races, it's not easy for you to get to see stuff. So when you were working on that series, you didn't have a lot of time, did you?
That was probably when I had the most time, because when you're working on something and you're in between, you had free time. So if I wasn't rehearsing or going over lines, I was chilling in my trailer and I'd put something on and watch it.
Yeah. I remember Danny DeVito one time when he was doing the Batman series way back. He used to come in, when I worked at video stores, because I worked at video stores, he used to come in and he brought Laserdiscs. Remember Laserdiscs? He brought $1,500, I'll never forget, $1,500 worth of Laserdiscs as he was playing the Penguin. And he would be sitting in the makeup chair watching it backwards. This is in 1987 when I met him, when he was doing that. And that's because he had, you know, it took like 3 or 5 hours to put his makeup on for the Penguin. He would watch all the Laserdiscs in the mirror.
Backwards. Okay. I thought you meant in reverse.
I know. I was like,
I don't understand.
Well, it is Danny. He could have done that too.
Yeah.
I just don't know that you're getting the full story. If you watch it in reverse.
You never
Start
know.
at the end.
You never know. Favorite thing? Favorite things you like to do when you're not working? You have a favorite charity?
Is there a time when I'm not working? Because someone
Oh,
needs
we
to
are
clue
really
me in.
busy. I mean, you're not a social media lady. Really, you're
No,
busy.
I'm on social media some, right? You know, there's always those breaks where I mean, let's be honest, we're all on social media all the time. Most of us anyway.
We don't even want to always admit it either.
That's right. But we are. So What do I do? God, I don't know. I mean,
Sleep.
Rest.
sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep.
And even
Days
that-
off. What
I
are these
know,
things?
someone
I don't
has,
know
like,
what you speak of.
Strap me down.
Yeah, right. Like I'll try and catch up on some of the new Netflix programming or shows that I wanted to watch that I didn't watch. Like I'll try and catch up on an episode or two here and there because I do like to, I am always reading the trades, so I know what's out there and I just don't always get a chance to watch. So, I have a little short list in my head and go, okay, I want to see an episode of this. And I still have not seen 13 Reasons Why. I saw the pilot, but I didn't watch the rest of the season. So that's like kind of one of the first things that I want to get back to next week when we wrap.
Erika, anything you like to do, special hobbies when you're not working or that little spare time you may have? Because this is what people don't get a chance to do.
She's a bit of a movie whore too. Let's be honest.
am.
This
Are you
girl's
really?
seen every movie.
Less in the last several years. I really, literally, like squeeze them in where I'm like, well, I'm not, and just like
Good
stream
for
it on the
you,
phone.
yeah.
But like, yeah, I was definitely a movie whore when I was little. Like, I've
But
seen a
can
lot
you
of
watch
stuff.
them because you're a film editor, so you see it a different way.
I am a very, I'm a tough audience.
Did you know
I'm
that film
definitely a
editors
tough
see
audience.
films different way because they have to put it together?
Honestly, Michelle and I and Michael have a very hard time watching movies without being like,
Yeah, see, that's
"Oh,
what I
that's
mean.
And
bad
we're okay
ADR
with it.
there,"
Yeah,
you know,
that
like,
cut.
did you see that cut? Horrible.
And
editing.
we're okay with it. It doesn't affect the way we watch the movie.
Yeah.
But when we're in the room with people that are not in the business, they're literally like, "Can you guys please stop? You're taking me out." Every time you mention a cut, or did you see that lighting, or that was bad continuity. Like, I see continuity problems all the time on big budget stuff. And our friends will be like, "You guys, you just shush and watch the movie." And it's so hard. And I'm sure as an actress for you guys, like, there's that element too of knowing, what it is, and where the fake stuff is. You know
People are
when
like,
things
oh my God,
happen.
I loved your performance. You're like, really? I didn't feel it.
It's not like you're ever looking for those things, the bad cut,
No.
the
Yeah.
continuity
No, of
misses.
course
It's just,
not.
you notice
If
it.
it
Yes.
pops up, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh no, I can't.
Yeah.
And then
It's like being a hairdresser and seeing a bad dye job. Like, you're gonna notice
Yep.
it just because it's what you do. When you work so hard at your craft, you notice things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Talk about the world of fitness. What do women do to stay in shape, to maintain everything that's going on in between working and all that? I see
I
little
think about
laughs here
working
and
out
there.
a lot. Does that
Yeah,
count?
lately it's been this workout.
Yeah, I find that my workout has been being on set because I tend not to eat, so that was pretty helpful the last week. A lot of stairs
Well,
to get here
talking
and
about
there, but
food on
not-
set, that's important these days. Think Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dwayne and Lou Ferrigno back in the day and bringing this good food on. And then you have small independent films where you might only have pizza and pretzels and whatever stuff, And I see you cringing, and
Well,
it happens,
luckily we get to be in the
above
most recent
pizza.
project we're a step above, but we're not.
Every once in a
whatever
while, pizza.
Arnie's bringing in is not coming on our sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's important. I mean, we were talking about women's body image. Not that it matters to me because it doesn't. I have my friends of all shapes and sizes, and I promote it because it's about gender empowerment to me. I think that's most important, and the friendships of that. We were talking about segments of what were you talking about? Was it women's body image?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, women and body image, me being an actress, that is one thing that is constantly on my mind. What do I look like? If I go to an audition, do I kind of fit the character? Are people going to like me? I worry about that a lot, and it frustrates me that is something that is so important. And even though there's so much work to do in all the other fields of acting, and yeah,
It must be like challenging as an actress because really, as an audience member, we want to connect to you. We want to feel what you're feeling, but then so it's all that work of like being real and giving us like good, I hate to say performance, but you know what I mean, like that.
absolutely.
And then there's the whole other side of it, which is just that, like you said, the image side of what do you look like, what are you wearing,
What size are you?
Exactly.
Yes. But I think that that's changed a lot. You
getting
have
there.
people like Melissa McCarthy, and and unfortunately, like there's not a litany of names that I can list. So it's still going to take us a little longer to get to a place where we're really looking at the person and the character versus just the beauty of it. In fact, I don't know that that's ever really going to go away.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to go away, but I think
in some ways it goes back. Like I think about like I can't think of what the movie was, but they remade some movie from like what, the 80s or the 90s, where the romantic leads were very clearly age appropriate. He was in his 40s, she was in his 40s, and I can't think of the movie now, but I remember hearing they were remaking it, and he was in his 40s and she was in her 20s, and I'm like, well, you're just kind of not really getting the point of what the story. What you're just sort of, you know, you're just perpetuating like a very commercialized concept of like men and women and what people want to see, and then people think that's what they want to see, and then it gets harder to break the mold.
Yeah. Well, that's. I remember. I forgot. Warren Beatty was in this film, and I remember him saying one point that they wanted a younger woman, and he goes, "I wanted someone closer to my age because I feel what they're going through." And my wife, you know, Annette Bening would say, "Don't you dare have that younger woman because I'm against that." And I never forgot that he says that. Now you don't hear things like that coming out, but he was fighting for that back then, going back to Dick Tracy where he had Madonna in it, you know? So there are a lot of people out there standing up for those rights like that, which I think is honorable, and that's good. But talk about the spiritual aspect of stuff. What gets you going up in the morning to stay in this business? It's a hard business to stay in it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think for me, because I'm in it, to make a difference in the world.
Okay, I like that.
American Street Kid is all about raising awareness for homeless youth and raising funds and housing and things like that for homeless kids. So there's that. We're working on another project right now that deals with some very important social issues, which we'll share with you when the movie's done. But, you know, Elevator is all about connection and how people feel about themselves and how they connect and relate to other people. And, you know, so for me, it's like, that's what keeps me going. When I'm exhausted, when it's an 18-hour day, when it's all of that, it's like I very carefully choose projects that will affect people, and that's the connection that I need as a producer, that my audience is connected. So I think that's what drives me. I think if I was just doing horror films all day long, I don't know that I would have as much drive or passion to keep it moving, if that makes sense.
So you like those global community and social impact films, which is what we like to choose and find, which I really like those also. And
some of them, like, I wouldn't call Elevator a social impact play because it doesn't really fall in that genre, but it has an impact on people all the same. Well, people come out and they're affected based on what the characters are going through, what they relate to, and that's everything for me. That's what the craft is you guys as actresses, I want you to make me feel something. And as a producer, I want to make you feel something. And if I've done that, then that is the driving force.
Well, I think the concept of it's beautiful because connection, like personal connection, I feel like is gone in this day and age. Everything's over electronics, your phone, the computer, like how an email, you know, it's like, can't you just call me? Like what we could talk about in 30 seconds is way longer than us having 10 emails back and forth.
But I perpetuate that same thing. I've gotten so accustomed to just being like, let me just text them. And sometimes I have friends who will be like, just call them and get the answer now. I know. And I'm just programmed to go through my phone.
We all are.
Yeah.
Gwen, what's it like for Europeans? Because there was my friend from London who turned me on to Facebook in 2007 when I was on MySpace. Anybody remember MySpace?
Yikes.
and I loved MySpace.
I think I still have a profile up there somewhere.
I had one. I think they deleted it. But the problem was, it was someone from England. He said, "Brian, you need to be on Facebook." I'm like, "Why? I like MySpace." And then they were like, "No, you're going to need to be on this." I'm like, "Okay." So I did it. Look where it is now.
Amazing.
Right?
Should have bought stock then.
Yeah. Well, I had a horse ranch then, so I didn't know. I was feeding the horses. European-wise, because I always like that outside the U.S. point of view.
Yes. Facebook to me is actually very important. Being so far away from home, I mean, like, many people say, like, social media is very anti-being connected, but I just feel like it's a different kind of connection. It makes it very easy for me to stay in touch with my friends in Germany, with my friends who are in other countries. I have a very good friend in Germany who wants to be an actress in India. So seeing her doing her things in India is actually very inspiring to me. And I would not have that if it wasn't for Facebook or social media. So I do think it is very important in one aspect and very connecting. It's just different.
Yeah.
So,
I tend to agree with that. I have tons of friends in New York that I would not be able to speak to because of the hours in my day, and by the time I free up, it's past, midnight their time, and, so Facebook, it helps me stay in touch with family and friends, but it does have the aspect that you're talking about, so it's sort of this where do you strike the
fine
balance?
line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, which is your favorite social media platform, Erika?
Instagram.
Why?
Because it's more visual than it is,
Right.
soapboxy. Like, I love Facebook; it's great, but I agree that it's definitely a great way to connect. But like sometimes people use it to connect in a way where I don't need to see a picture of your sandwich and hear the story of the sandwich. I don't.
Which is what Facebook,
Facebook becomes almost like a little bit of an empty reach out at some points. Like people are just posting stuff that's like very personal, and they're clearly doing it just to garner some attention, which is fine. Like I get it, you're trying to get connection, but it's just it just becomes a lot of feed, and there's a simplicity to Instagram that I really,
and a lot
really
of celebrities
enjoy.
love Instagram because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle?
I guess I'm honestly more of a Facebook person.
Okay.
But I do.
Because you have that product, though. That's why.
Yes, and for me, like, Facebook serves so many purposes for me. Like you were just saying, it really keeps me connected to home and family and friends. But it's also a great way to market films and the play, and build audiences and connect our audiences with other people. It's got this sort of amazing.
Yeah,
way
you
to
wouldn't even have
build.
known what I would have done this morning if it weren't for Facebook, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's right.
And that's the problem with Instagram, even though I know that people like Instagram for certain reasons, and I get it, but look at me, I got a classic phone still, and no, people actually laugh at my phone, but it still works. But it's one of those things where I can barely put up a good photo on my Instagram, but I don't have a problem going and taking whatever, put it on Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll get to me in a minute. Gwen?
For me, it's definitely Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's for a lot of women in Germany? Again, I'm going to break it down.
I really can't answer that question. I don't know. I just know for me it's definitely Facebook because, the people that I follow and that I'm friends with on Facebook, it's very personal. I do know all of them. So when I look at my feed, it's mostly things that do interest me, and it's like less random things. Then my Instagram is what I use more for like promotion, marketing, and
I like what you're doing with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Natalie?
I think they each serve, for me, different purposes. Like Instagram, same thing. Like get on, swipe through, see some stuff. Facebook, I can follow like different, fans that have become friends and family whose kids have cancer and are battling these illnesses, and I can see their updates and what's going on with their kids. I like it for that.
Right. You can accomplish more through Facebook in some ways as like a.
So they each
social
serve their
or
own
marketing
purpose.
thing,
And Twitter is like a quick little get out, just say what you need, and 140 or did they send
60?
60 characters?
Yeah. For me, it's right now it's YouTube because I'm closing in that $1 million mark on my videos. And there's certain things like the last 2 years where I couldn't say stuff that I wanted to say on Facebook because you've got all these people peeping in from around the world. But on my YouTube, as long as I was putting up my content up there, I was looking at those clicks, not going after subscribers, which is what Google wants. I wanted those views because I could tell that publicist or I could tell that celebrity, I've got so many views for this film or this TV show that you did years ago, and it's still up. When I see, I got a clip on my YouTube, www.youtube.com/movie reviews, the letter N more, movie reviews and more. I've got a clip of Layla Ali, pregnant, and Hulk Hogan talking about American Gladiators when the show came back. And that 4-minute interview has got 110,000 views with no promotion. I don't promote the channel. I just started doing it like 2 weeks ago because I'm getting to that mark. Because once you get to that $1 million mark, you're gold.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy. And then I go on Facebook because I can put up those 4 images or mini photos where you can only put up 4 on Twitter, and you can't put up, you can only put up 1 on Instagram. And then now we have LinkedIn. So now I went in there and I'm like, oh my God, what else?
I can't keep up. I think the LinkedIn is more for business purposes, and
Yes.
everybody I'm talking to about business is talking about LinkedIn, and I'm just like, I gotta go update that profile too. And then I go on LinkedIn, and now LinkedIn has more of a feed that's more like Facebook, and I'm like, there's so much to sift through.
Yeah,
that
it's
you're-
too much. It's like
Yeah.
overwhelming. I can't do all of it.
Well, and then honestly, let's be honest, the light that comes off your phone is not the greatest thing for you too. So you got to put it down every once in a while. Like literally just put the phone down, eat your dinner, get off it, and just calm down. It's like, but we have to tell ourselves, don't we? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I literally have to consciously say, put the phone down. Just put it down, walk away.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
Favorite movie that got you into the business and why? Do you have one?
Oh, God.
Come on, you're a movie whore like me.
Yeah, I know, but that makes it harder to answer, not easier.
We're going to come back to you
Please
then.
come back to me.
Okay, we're going to go to Gwenn first.
Yeah.
You're laughing. European point of view, what made you want to be an actress? What was the movie that turned you on?
Well, it wasn't really a movie that turned me on.
Of course
to
it
wanting
was.
To be an actress. No, I always liked watching movies, but the first time I was on stage, I was 9 years old, and I've always done like high school plays and those kind of things. So I always enjoyed it, but I never wanted to be an actress because I didn't realize that that's actually a career I could follow. So it was in the end my mom who said, "Why don't you go be an actress?" And I'm like, "Mom, you're crazy."
Oh yes,
Like,
that's
you
right.
can- yeah.
Her mom is a wonderful mom. Her mom gives her suggestions of what to do, and she tries them out, and she does. And she's not. This is what I like about Gwenn. She's not afraid to drive around Los Angeles and do things and experiment, which is what Europeans do, and I like that.
Yeah.
She's come. Hey, come meet me over here. Well, you ask most people, come meet me here because I want you to see visually what we're doing. Oh no, I can't do that. I'm trying to get someone to come, and then they don't show up, and then they miss out on great things. Imagine everything that you've come to, you've been happy to come to, haven't
Yes,
you?
absolutely.
You took the chance, and that's why I tell people, come take the chance. What do you
Yes.
got to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
You
You
can
at
sit
least
there,
have to
look at your
try.
phone, and
Yeah.
pretend you were there,
Yeah.
and take a selfie because you don't have a friend to take a photo with you. You know, it's true. That's what a selfie is. They can't find a friend to take a photo with them. With.
Did you see Sebastian Maniscalco?
knew you were gonna say
Do you know who he is?
No,
Okay.
but he's got Sebastian, so he can't be that bad.
He's a comedian, and he's like literally blown up. I was introduced to him, not personally, but through his work like a year or so ago. And in that time, I've seen his name everywhere. He's got does he have an HBO special now or something? I don't know.
Oh, yes.
His name is Sebastian Maniscalco, and he's so funny. He's Chicago Italian, like to the T. He's hilarious. Anyway, he does this whole bit on, he calls it a lonely instead of a selfie.
It's
It's
true.
so funny. He does the same bit about not having anyone to take a picture with you, the whole selfie in the bathroom thing. It's funny. You should definitely, a little promo for Sebastian. You should definitely check him out.
I mean, who knows? He might be on here in a couple of weeks.
I mean,
You
he's
never
wonderful.
know.
He's wonderful.
And by the way, we are booked up, months until October, so people are fighting. I mean, we got you guys on because
Amazing.
A friend of Stan, and plus, the connection, and everything, which was most important.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
what got people into
Yeah, favorite movie. For example, mine is It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. When I watched that as a little kid, I watched the whole thing, and if you remember, there's an intermission in there, but it had some of my favorite actors who ended up becoming friends. I never knew I was going to meet Milton Berle, and then he was going to bring me into, the Beverly Hills Friars Club, and I would be the third minority to be brought in, simply because I watched that film, and then I met him, and I remember quizzing him. It was at remember Planet Hollywood when they were around. Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger came in, and they invested in Hard Rock. Planet Hollywood.
Planet
Things.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those things. That's why I met him in the back of like a room like this, and he was smoking cigars, and I see all these women. I'm like, the women smoking cigars, and is that Milton Berle? That's Milton Berle. And I go, how dare these women not talk to Milton Berle? He's a legend. So I went in there and I talked to him, and he goes, yeah, kid, just call me at the Friars Club. I'm like, yeah, but will I reach you? That's what I said. Will I reach you? Because that's how adamant I was when this. I'm like, can I reach you? Yeah, here, kid, here's my number. I'm like, Milton Berle just gave me his number. It's like meeting someone that you really looked up to.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was going to be an honor to be brought in and run into those favorite writers and editors and the people at the Friars Club. We don't have it here now. It's only in New York now. But that's what did it for me. And
What
then
happened to the Friars here?
they closed it down, just like anything that closes down for no reason. They couldn't get more youth to come in.
And be members.
Yeah. And that's why I said I was the third minority to come in. Fred Wilkinson, the football player, was the first. There was a real estate agent, and I was the third. So Milton Berle brought me in, and then Tommy Butch Bond, the original Butch from the Little Rascals, if you remember him. So from that, I was brought in, and I was welcomed to the Friars Club family. But now it doesn't exist, so it's almost like it never happened. And then my second favorite film was, Enter the Dragon, which made me want to be a martial artist, Bruce Lee. So there's always those things. So your turn.
Oh my gosh.
I stalled enough.
I know you did. And the whole time you were stalling, I was like, I don't know what to say.
Well, you're a producer now. There was something where it hit you as a
know.
little girl that made you want to enter this business. Because look where you are now. So you're an inspiration to a lot of other people out there.
This is the thing about Michelle. She is not a movie whore.
I'm
There's a
not.
long list of movies that should be in her repertoire that she hasn't had time to absorb yet.
I don't know. I mean, in high school, I think I was addicted to The Breakfast Club,
Okay.
which is interestingly parallel
John Hughes.
to Elevator in some weird way.
Uh-huh.
That was a biggie for me. Growing up, I think the first movie that made me really emotional was Officer and a Gentleman. I love that movie.
Richard Gere, yep.
Yep. And then there's the Godfather series, which, that's just the New York in me.
Ah,
Which
see,
is
that
like-
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Natalie?
But recent favorites, wait, can I just...
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
My most recent favorite, was it last year or the year before, was
Year
Room.
before Room.
Yeah. Room was one of my favorites.
Oh, yes.
And most recent.
Oh,
Brie
yes.
Larson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Natalie?
Yeah, I don't think there was one movie. I think it was just the whole business of it,
Movies
acting,
and-
and acting and doing what I love and being able to try all of these other things at the same time,
See, that's interesting. That could be possible now because a lot of people aren't seeing a lot of movies anymore with everything going on. So that's possible.
My parents didn't watch a lot of movies. We didn't get to watch a lot of TV growing up.
So when you became a ring girl getting in, so you came in more really to the sports world then, and then flip-flopped over, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
I did when I was little, I was doing child acting, modeling, all the print stuff, doing all the auditions. So I had that kind of, I already had it in me. I'd been exposed to it for a long time. So I just think there wasn't one movie, but it was just something I always knew I loved doing.
Mm-hmm.
Erika, did you figure out one yet?
Well, no, I was thinking about it as I was going around, and I mean, I was trying to be, the performer when I was 2-3 years old, and I was not watching movies at 2 or 3 that I could understand or have impact. It was just the idea of it, and then movies just became very clearly something I liked. So it was really just something that, I think was instilled in me through the canal, and movies are just something I really, really enjoy, for multiple.
Yeah, I think
of
that's
reasons.
for me too, because I was exposed to much more theater as a child than I was movies.
Yeah, me too. Phantom
so-
of the Opera, Nutcracker. We used to go
Yeah.
every year. We'd go see all that stuff.
Like I was brought to the theater really, really young. I was pretty fortunate. So, and I lived, just outside of Manhattan, so I was able to go see Broadway
All right,
as a child.
so that's different.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So while
Sometimes
you guys
it
have
depends
movies
where you
that
grow
click
up, I
for
guess,
you,
too.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Connecticut.
Right. Okay.
So we didn't
I grew up
have
on Long
those.
Island. Yeah. So I would say I saw Peter Pan when I was really young,
Yeah.
and instead of just, of course, I was enthralled with her flying, but I remember
As a little boy.
and I remember telling my mother, and because she would always remind me, she was like, "Oh my God, the producer in you," because I was like, I can see how they hooked her up. And I saw them. I saw where it happened. I saw her go stage left, and she got hooked, but. The direction was here, so you were supposed to be watching what was happening here, but I was watching what was happening over there,
Yes.
and I could see her get hooked up, and I saw how she flew, and I was like, I got it, figure it out. So
That's funny.
I think it was the theater for me that really sucked me into the world of entertainment and all of that. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about this because a lot of the millenniums don't watch. They don't watch what they want to get into. It's all about the views and the followers that they have. As that producer, what are your feelings on that?
I have mixed feelings. It's challenging. Like you could see 2 actors that are just as qualified, and we don't operate this way. We definitely work on instinct and connection. But I've heard from other actors that they've gone up for auditions, and 2 girls equally as qualified, equally as talented,
Yep.
and whoever's got the more the bigger audience on social media is the one that's going to get the gig.
Yep.
And while that sucks from the actor's perspective, I understand it from the producer's perspective because that's where all the marketing's happening these days. Like, that's where people are spending their money to market their product, and that's where people are. That's where people are living. So it's hard to not be affected by it or not make that a deciding factor in some way. It's but I get it's challenging. You could be a super talented actor with no audience, and you're, it's now an even tougher battle for you getting into the craft.
Natalie, I know you have something you probably want to say. Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, just that I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one who struggles with it, because it's like if I'm on social media all the time posting stuff, how am I supposed to do everything else I'm supposed to be doing? So that's where finding that balance is, and it's a hard place, because I've had that exact thing happen, and it's like, okay, I know I was better, but because she has 250,000 followers, that's the only deal.
And it's tough. I think we like to pride ourselves as a production company that we don't fall into that. It's definitely about the talent and about the connection, right? It's like, I don't care if you have 250,000 views. Like, sure, as a producer, I get that that's beneficial, but am I compromising the art for that?
Yeah.
Like, not willing to do that at all.
Well, and especially because I always look at, like, what are they taking pictures of? Do they have 250,000 followers because they're always posting pictures of themselves? The selfie thing? Is
half
it, like,
naked.
that what it is? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Gwen, your feelings on that?
Exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
Resist.
Yeah. and there's just so much you can do, right? Some of it you just have to do, and I know a lot of actors, they basically have to become marketing experts. And you always did, but you had to promote yourself, but there was a limited scope of where you were promoting yourself. Now the range is so wide. So, yeah.
Well, and speaking of promoting yourself, I got to ask everybody's email or whatever social media so people can reach out to you. Again.
So
I like to always make sure everybody hears this.
100%. elevatortheplay.com or at elevatortheplay on all of the social media handles. And we can slip in a little American Street Kid, right? AmericanStreetKid.com. And
a movie
also
lasts forever.
American,
Doesn't matter. It always finds new audiences around the world.
100%.
Erika, when you're out doing stuff as an actress, as an editor, and whatever else you may be, how do you promote yourself?
Often I promote myself actually through the projects, but my handle on Instagram.
I like how she says that. My handle.
My handle is just Erika Katzin, at Erika Katzin.
Okay.
That's the best way to find me. I'm not like a crazy super poster, but you might find some nice.
Well, here's the thing.
knots of
It
wisdom
has
on there.
happened before. I've had people come on the show and all of a sudden they're working on this major thing. It just happens. And again, that's not my forte, but I love doing that because I like seeing people grow. Gwen?
Yes, well, my handle is my name also. It's Gwenn Wunderlich, which is a little
Spelled like it sounds.
foreign, pretty much. Yeah, should be easy. No, it's GWENN, and then my last name is WUNDERLICH.
Natalie?
Beautiful. You can go on my website. All of my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is at Natalie Skyy, and that's with 2 Y's, SKYY.
Especially when it comes to looking at her jewelry, because it is beautiful. So I always like to promote that. See, and I'm a man, I'm not promoting it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
Well,
fun.
it's important
on
because it's
Etsy.
nice. You put a lot of hard work into doing this.
I do. And I handpick all the stones and all the materials I use. And yeah.
It's in between all her busy stuff when she's not going nuts by not being busy.
It's more of like a meditation for me, doing something repetitive like that. It's really relaxing.
Real quickly, talk about relaxing and healing. Gwen, start with you, because a lot of this came from your mom.
Yes. Well, so my mom is an energy healer in Germany, and she developed her own healing technique called Amazing Grace. And it started out with her being a complete non-believer in energy healing. She was a very business-oriented woman and would say, just get away with that woo-woo stuff. But then she had a car accident, and Western medicine couldn't help her. They told her, you're lucky if it doesn't get worse. So my grandmother was the one who said, you need to go see this energy healer in Munich. And she's like, I'll do it if you shut up afterwards. So she went, and was actually the place where she got a tiny little bit of relief, and that nobody else was able to give her. So she kept going back, and her health started improving so much that she said, if this is a thing that's possible, if this really works, I have to know how this works. And if they learned it, so can I. So she traveled the world and took every kind of, and still does, training and healing that she can get her hands on, and developed her own method called Amazing Grace. And she now owns founded the first hospital for energy healing for
that's
inpatients.
Awesome. Oh my God, that's awesome.
In Germany, and has a healing school attached to it.
Oh my God, that's so
incredible.
awesome.
Yeah.
And she's going to be here when?
On August 8th.
Yep. Yeah. Show up the book one more time for the audience.
This is the book.
And
That's
we've got a couple
fantastic.
minutes left. Last words. What do you want to promote? Anything you want to say interesting?
I think that everyone should come and see Elevator the play because I think it will raise your vibration to something lovely, and you'll laugh and you may cry, and it's going to be great, and you'll want to share it with people. And yeah.
I like that. That's good. Look at that. She likes that. You should take a selfie now.
Please don't.
No, I
That
don't.
face.
Michelle?
Well, clearly I'm promoting elevatortheplay.com as well. Please come buy your tickets, come see the show. We just extended through August.
Isn't that great?
And yes, it's amazing. And
Can we hopefully extend it another month?
listen, if it's up to me, we're going through Christmas.
Okay.
I'm going to call it right now. We're going through Christmas.
All right.
We're going to go. The tickets keep selling. People keep coming. So please come. Elevatortheplay.com. We would love to see you.
But don't wait for the extension. Get your tickets now.
Yes,
Exactly.
listen to her. And then, check out AmericanStreetKids.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram and get in touch because it is all, like we said, here we are, back to connection.
Yep.
There it is.
Gwen?
My mom's book. Also, I have to say, American Street Kids. I've seen it. It's absolutely incredible. Really, really is. And I feel like everybody has to see this documentary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Natalie? One last time. You can never promote yourself too often,
I mean,
especially with a producer in the room.
yeah, I'll have some exciting stuff coming up. I have a independent feature that I did, so that'll be doing the film festival circuit soon. So we'll have more news to come.
What's it
But
called?
It's called 3 Days Since.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
play
you like it when that
therapist.
producer goes, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I
That
play
could be
therapist,
something.
a total different role from playing the dumb blonde hooker on Sons. That's great.
That's good. Gotta expand that
I
range.
love it. I love it. Yep.
That's awesome. Good for
See,
you.
and I have to thank my sponsors, Qingtao Beer, and my other friend from England, Denmark, Relationships in a Nutshell. Really, really good book. Europeans tend to like it more, but she wrote it because it's based on a lot of her life, which is actually really, really good. Kirsten, Maxine, Albright. We will see you coming up pretty soon, and it's always about movie. Let's see what's coming up next. Oh, one last thing. If you didn't get a chance on History Channel to see Imelda Earhart and what really happened to her, she was lost for all these years, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to give anything away, but it wasn't what we thought had happened, and it's very, very interesting. And to reach out to us, this is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More. You can reach out to me on Facebook.com/Brian Sebastian 169, on my favorite social media, YouTube, YouTube.com/Movie Reviews, the letter N, more. Help me get to 1 million, and I'll have you on the show. I think that's it. Hey, we'll see everybody next week. What are we talking about next week? We got the Glow Girls coming up in 3 weeks. We have, I think I should give this one away because I know it's going to be a pretty big show. The pros and cons of cannabis and hemp. That will be quite interesting. And that's all I got to say. We will see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.